she'll text me like today. She says, "Well, your so-and-so numbers, we just got the results. The high is 40, but yours was 300." And that was part of the autoimmune deal that we were going through. And I'm like, well, it's still trying to beat me down, but that'll be okay. We're gonna fight, fight, fight to the bitter end. And as long as the Lord would have me here, that's how long I will be here. Amen. So I got Brother Willie going to speak to us tonight. I told him to go ahead and just rear back, go ahead and preach. Go ahead and turn his microphone up 3 more notches, because if he gets to preaching and I can't hear him, I'm going to say, "I can't hear you." Come on, Brother Willie. You got it. Yeah. No, no whisper.
He has it. He has it. He has it. Isn't that what you always told me? He has it. She's going like this. That's why we can hear her. That's why we can hear. Wow. I can hear me. That's upsetting. I wanted to talk tonight. We've been studying 2 Samuel for a while. 1 Samuel, we got through 1 Samuel. And things that keep Samuel, 1st and 2 Samuel, but 2 Samuel has really been a book that stops. And there's so much in there. You could take one verse and just have a whole week sitting down with the fellows and talking through it. So we're going to be stopping in 2 Samuel chapter 7. But I wanted to bring you up to speed somewhat quick. If we started in 1 Samuel 27, David has a lapse of faith. And what I mean by that is he has been chased by Saul for a long time, and he's getting tired. And he finally comes to a point where he says, "You know what? Sorry, but you can't protect me." He is all over me, and just turns his back on God and goes to live with the Philistines, of all places. I got to thinking about that, and I got to thinking about how many times I've turned and walked to places where I shouldn't be, thinking that I can control my life and the messes that I get into. And it's not too far after that. In 2 Samuel 28, Saul goes to a witch because he hasn't heard from the Lord. So he goes to a witch to try and conjure up the spirit of God, scares the witch to about death. 29, David is to go to war with the Philistines, but they cast him out. Now this is where he went to hide, and he does good works for them, but the Philistines are going to go battle with the Israelis. And the Philistines say, "You know what? Saul killed hundreds. He killed thousands. We don't want him on our team. He might be a turncoat. He might be a plant, but he'd be a turncoat." 31, Saul dies. And what struck me there was this young man comes to David and says, "Here's Saul's crown." How'd you get it? "Well, I was in the battlefield." And Saul said, "Who are you?" And "I'm a stranger. I'm a Hittite." And Saul told me to come kill him. So I chopped off his head, and here's his crown. Well, David grieves, and his troops grieve, rips their clothes, and they go into mourning for him because he is one of God's appointed people. And then after that, David looks at him and said, "How did you come about to tell us that you took the life of one of God's chosen?" That's what he told me to do. Oh. So David turns around and says, "You, go and lay on him." Took one of his men, go and lay on him. And that man killed him right there, dead. So what I'm trying to do is get to a point where David can give life or take it, because he's going to be king, or he is king. He was also chosen by God to be a king. 2 Samuel 6, David goes and gets the ark. And we know this story by Pastor Ponder, Obed-Edom. And when I read, I like to, I don't know why, but if I can't get myself in there somewhere, it doesn't make any sense to me. I have to play like I'm one of the characters in the Bible sometimes. So David is going to go get the Ark of the Covenant, and we all know that Uzzah lost his life because his hand touched the Ark. And it said the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah, and God smote him right there for his error, because we're not supposed to touch it. David was displeased because the Lord had made a breach upon Uzzah. And he called the name of the place something. And it's still named that today. And David was afraid. He was terrified of the Lord that day and said, how shall the ark of the Lord come to me? He's trying to get the ark of the Lord into the city of David. So David did not remove the ark of the Lord into the city of David, but David carried it aside into the house of Obed-Edom, the Gittite. And the ark of the Lord continued in the house of Obed-Edom and the Gittite for 3 months. And the Lord blessed Obed-Edom and his household. That should have been the end of the story. But I'm thinking David is like, well, you know what? I touched it. I'm running. He stomps off in a huff because that man was killed. And, well, I can't touch the ark. I can't bring it to the city of we'll just take it over there and dump it on him. And then it goes in and says, and it was told to King David, saying, the Lord has blessed the house of Obed-Edom and all that pertained on him because of the ark of God. So what does David do? Drops everything he's got. Well, if it's going to bless them, I'm going to get some of that blessing. I'm going to run down there and get it and bring it home. It goes on, and the people departed, everyone to their house. I'm going to run and settle in chapter 7. Now, David has gone through wars. He's gone through battles. He's gone through Saul chasing him. He's lost his best friend, Jonathan. And now it comes to all the people. Now he has, once he started after Saul died, he was king of Judah. Now, in chapter 7, he is king of all of Israel. They've all come to him. Enemies and people that didn't want him now have built him a house of cedar. Cedar is a big thing in our Bible. And it came to pass when the king sat in his house, and the Lord had given him rest round about from all of his enemies. So David's at peace right now. Not from his own works. But it says the Lord had given him peace, as he does us. He also gives us trials. One of the things I got out of this is, why do we seem to lay the good in our lives on ourselves? David is in this house of cedar, and the first thing he starts thinking about, and some say, oh man, he's thinking about the Lord. But there's a word in there that stopped me. In verse 2, it says, and the king said unto Nathan, the prophet. Now we'll see Nathan later on in this chapter, or this book of Samuel, as the one that points out David and says, you're the man. You're the man that done this thing. He speaks to Nathan. See now, that's the word that stood out to me. I dwell in the house of cedar, but the ark of the Lord dwelleth within the curtains. I'm thinking, like me, hey, you know what? I'm the king. I not only can have people killed, but I can build a house for the Lord now. I'm thinking we should build a house for the Lord. And Nathan said to the king, go, do all that is in thy heart, for the Lord is with thee. Doesn't that sound like our when somebody comes to us, hey, I want to do this so I can get a better job. Oh, man, go ahead. Sounds like a cheerleader to me, right off the bat. It sounds like this guy is, hey, you know what? If I go against him, he's the new king. Not only am I going to lose my job, but I could probably lose my head. So here we have a cheerleader saying, king, you go and do whatever you want to do. The Lord is with thee. And it came to pass that night that the Lord came to Nathan saying, go tell my servant David. Isn't David a man after God's own heart? There's something hit me that was strange there. Why did God call David? David, you got a problem? Am I too big for your small problems? You only call me when you're in trouble? He called Nathan. Why? I'm thinking it's because if I call Mona with a problem, Mona's going to help me with the problem. I didn't call God for the problem, so why should God call me? He called Mona. And then sent Nathan back and said, go tell my servant, David. As another, what? He didn't say king. He didn't say, go back and tell your king, David. He didn't say, go back and tell my king, David. He said, go back and tell my servant. It sounds like you're going to put David in his place. Just like we need sometimes. Just like I need a lot of times. The older I get, and I'll probably steer off a little bit here. The older I get, the harder it is for me to figure out people. Coming to church today, I've seen the people that you were talking about. It had to be a 40, 50-year-old woman riding a kid's bicycle. And a man walking down the street. It was like, we have people that live around us. And it's like, man, you're 50 years old and you had nothing. I had to pay my cell phone bill, so I can't pay my rent. And it's like, what happened to 20s and 30s when you did that? And you're supposed to grow up from those times, but they just seem to, whatever. So I had the hardest time. And what I ended up doing is telling myself, you know what? You don't have to understand people. All you got to do is pray for them. And not put your treasures on this earth, but put it in heaven where it belongs. And my treasure isn't gold and rings and here I like a gold ring, shows that I'm married. I like a fancy watch. But in heaven, I'm not looking for a mansion of gold. I'm looking for the one who saved me, who stayed on the cross and saved me. I'm not looking for walking on streets of gold. I'm walking to Jesus. And it came to pass that night that the word of the Lord came unto Nathan, saying, go tell my servant David. Go tell my boy. Thus saith the Lord, shalt thou build me a house for me to dwell in? In Chronicles, 1 Chronicles chapter 7, I believe it is, it says, you're not going to build me a house. Right off the bat. It's almost identical story here. And now I want to pick out, if you look in here and you had a pencil or a pen and you don't mind drawing in your Bible, check out how many eyes are coming at you right now. Whereas I, God, have not dwelt in any house since the time that I, God, brought the children from Israel out of Egypt, even to this day, but have walked in a tent and in a tabernacle. And all the places where I have walked with all of my children of Israel, spake I a word with any of the tribes of Israel, whom I commanded to feed my people, Israel, saying, why build ye not me a house? At no time, from the time of Egypt to now, has the Lord ever said to anyone, build me a house. Why do you think you can just take that upon yourself? The things that we take upon ourselves without even questioning, without even praying. I said that Nathan was a cheerleader at this point. Well, when somebody comes with you with a problem, we should stop. And Mona has done it a few times with me. Hold on, man. This is serious business. Let's pray about it. Let's seek counsel of the one that holds us together. Instead of just saying, well, you do what you feel is right with the Lord, and I'm sure he'll bless you for it. He might not. So we have God saying, I've never told anybody to build me a house, and you're not going to. Now it comes down to, and verse 8 says, and therefore so shall thou say unto my servant again, David, thus saith the Lord of hosts, I, God, took thee from the sheepcote, from following sheep to ruler over my people. You didn't do it. No matter how big we get, no matter how famous we get, no matter how rich we get, no matter how poor we get, no matter how many cars we drive, how many houses we have, no matter how many people we work for, we have to realize as Christians, we didn't do that. The President of the United States is not sitting in that White House because he did anything. God put him there for his purpose and in his time. So he's telling Nathan, go back and tell David, I picked you from the sheepcote to be a ruler. And I was with thee wheresoever thou wentest. And every time we get out on the road or anywhere we're traveling, we think it's me. It's only me. And he's saying, I was there with you no matter where you went. And I had cut off all the enemies out of thy sight. How many times we've gone down the road and, I forgot something, turn around and go back. And then come back on the road 2 minutes later and there's a major crash. Major, like people spread out all over the road. I think that's what he's talking about there. I've cut off the enemies out of thy sight. You didn't even see what was happening, and I turned you around. So you didn't have to be a part of that. And have made thee a great name, like unto the name of the great men that are in the earth. Moreover, I, God, will appoint a place for my people, Israel, and will plant them, that they may dwell in the place of their own, and move no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them any more as before time. And since that time, and since the time that I, God, commanded judges to be over my people of Israel, and have caused thee to rest from all thy enemies, also the Lord telleth thee that he will make thee a house. So all that he's telling Nathan to tell David, and then he turns around and saying, the Lord will make my house. And when all the days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, David, you're going to die one day. And I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of your bowels, and I, God, will establish his kingdom. He shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. And I will be his father. That's all he wants from us also, to be our father. I will be his father, and he will be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him, with the rod of men and with stripes of children of men. I like that. I will chasten him. Some thinks when we get into a spot that it's the devil giving us a hard day. Oh, let's stop and tell the devil, stop, get off my back. Jesus, get him off my back. What if it's Jesus? What if he's giving us a hard time? What if we're pushing that big rock up the hill and we're saying we're going to do it, we're going to do it, we're going to do it? I got this saying from the missions trips, especially down in Cuba. Man, we have to work so hard just to work hard around here. It takes so much work just to work hard. But the blessings are more than many down there. So I say that the devil isn't always on our back. God's going to chasten us. He is our enemy. And we do have God to protect us from Satan. But some of the things that we go through, we bring them on ourselves. And God himself says, I will chasten him. Just like your daddy did. To show us which way is right and which way is wrong. The next verse is important to me too. He can whip me, he can beat me, but God does it by mercy. He said, by my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away before thee. And thy house, thy kingdom shall be established forever before thee. Thy throne shall be established forever. According to all these words and according to all this vision, so did Nathan speak to David. So this guy, Nathan, had to tell David, you know that when you were tending sheep, God put you where you are now to be king. You didn't do anything like that. So Nathan had to stand firm, stand in front of the king. I would imagine his legs were a little nervous there for a while. But he was doing what the Lord told him to do. And for the reason that I say, because David didn't go to God and say, hey, what do you think about me building a house for you? He went to Nathan and said, what do you think? Well, I build a house? Yeah, sure. Then David goes and he starts to worship. David sees his error. And I got to thinking that, if the Lord is that patient with David and with the Israel people time and time and time and time again, how much more patient than he is with me? How much more patient can he be when I don't do what I'm supposed to do? When I don't stop? When I don't study? One of the greatest things that I have is going to the nursing home and sitting down with the fellows on Friday evening or Friday morning at Baker's. Why? Because it holds me accountable to open up my Bible and read. When I leave, I take my Bible with me, but there's always something. Oh, I got to go check the oil on the condenser coil, or my air leak is. It's always something that pulls me away. And that's, you know what? It's Monday. I have till Friday. Get back. Oh, well, I'm not going to be back until late Friday, so I don't have to sit with the guys early morning. I find excuses not to read and not to study, but holding yourself accountable to somebody else when they're looking across the table at you, to me, keeps me focused on what I need to be studying. And then King David, he went in and sat before the Lord. To me, that's love. He didn't stand at attention like a soldier. He went in and sat. He's at ease with the Lord. He sat before the Lord and he said, "Who am I, O Lord God? And what is my house that thou hast brought me here?" He realizes, as we should, who am I that I've got all this? Who am I that I can sit in your presence? Who am I that my house is what it is? And this was yet a small thing in your sight, O God. The blessings that we hold so dear to us is just minute to God. But thou hast spoken also of thy servant's house for a great while to come. And this is the manner of man, and is this the manner of man, O Lord God? And what can David say more unto thee? For thou, Lord God, knowest thy servant. I heard Jamie preaching on John 5:42. I know you. It was back then to David's son too. I know you. I know you. I know my servant. For thy word's sake and according to thy own heart hast thou done all these great things to make thy servant known them. Wherefore thou art great, O God, Lord, and there is none like thee, neither is there any God beside thee, according to all that we have heard with our ears. And what one nation in the earth is like thy people, even like Israel, whom God went and redeemed for a people to himself, and to make him a name, and to do for you great things and terrible for the land before thy people, which thou redeemest to thee from Egypt, from the nations of their gods. For thou hast confirmed thyself to thy people Israel to be a people unto thee forever. And thou, Lord, art becoming their God, or became their God. And thou, O Lord, the word that thou hast spoken concerning thy servant and concerning his house, establish it forever. And do as thou hast said. And let thy name be magnificent forever, saying, the Lord of hosts is God over Israel. And let the house of thy David the servant David, be established before thee. Turning everything back over to God. Turning everything that he's praying, and he's saying, take everything that I am, everything that you have given me, and make it great for you. And now, O Lord, thou art God, and thy words be true, and thou hast promised this goodness unto thy servant. Isn't his promises good enough for us to keep going, for us to climb, for us to grovel, for us to not understand, for us to be chastened? It's his promises. It's his goodness. An unshakable God with goodness forever. Therefore, now let it please thee. Man, if that's not a line in the Bible that we should all live by. Therefore, now let it please thee to bless the house of thy servant, that it may continue before thee. For thou, O Lord God, hast spoken it, and without blessing, let the house of thy servant be blessed forever. And how do we bless it? How do we become that blessed house? By pleasing him. Let my house please thee. It'll be a pleasure to you to have my house. To have those ones going in and out of my door be a pleasure to you. To learn of you, to hear of you. That's it. I just wanted to ask, the biggest question I had when I was reading this is, how many times have we had David, in many of his throngs, has gotten into trouble. And then he turns around and he said, Lord, will you go before me? Will you take the battle and chase the enemy away before I get there? Shall I go? And then there's times that he just turns around and says, well, I'll go. I'll just go do it. And it just accounts for my lifestyle sometimes, that I think that, I can do just about anything I need to do and anything that I want to do. There's nothing that I haven't tried to do to better our lifestyle or better, or just because it's a challenge sometimes for me to do. I'm no great man. I'll probably never be a great man or a great preacher. But the word affects my life, and he called me to preach it. And I just wanted everybody to be aware that we have a God that listens. He doesn't turn his back on us, even when we turn our backs on him. He's there in the rough times and the easy times. And it's the easy times, I believe it's the easy times that we forgive the most. Because we all come a groveling when we have a problem in our lives. And we never say thank you. Sometimes it's not, yeah, thank you, Lord. Go out past the accident, thank you, Lord. The dog attacked somebody else's kid, thank you, Lord, it wasn't my kid. But do we worship him in times when good times, like we should? I mean, our church is empty tonight. There's a lot of people out there that have a good life right now. Whatever they're doing on Wednesday night, they should be here. We can feed them, we can blow up things, and they can all come. We have 100 people in here. But come to hear the word of the Lord, and not that important. I had a long week. It's been hard on me. It's hot outside. I've had to work outside. Whatever their excuses is null and void. We can look at this church as the empty pews right here is filled with Satan, because he's made every excuse for everybody not to fill them right now. So y'all come gather around the altar.